Okay, everybody. So, kind of wanted to get into this a little bit. We had a comment from I don't know, office furniture person. I'm pretty sure by the name of Herman Miller because they make great office furniture.
Very heavy, very expensive, but
Uh,
we were honored that the CEO and creator of Herman Miller was talking
yes.
shit.
So basically, he wanted to know, you know, when when did being opinionated equate? I'm going to say it correctly because he said it like completely wrong.
No, you that
All
would be
right. So this is what he said. Since when did being opinionated equated to common sense? Since always.
yes, that's forever.
I mean, that is uh it's sound judgment not based on specialized knowledge. So basically what common sense is you can look at a situation, assess it, and give your opinion on it. And hopefully your opinion or do an action. Something like that. Something to where you've learned from experience or you can judge something and come to a conclusion of what is right or wrong. I believe that is what common sense is. If you have what do you think, Josh?
Yeah, I think that's exactly what it is. There's not a lot of it around. That's why we kind of started this show. The whole thing about there's a lot of people that look at everything going on in life through the guise of ideology. And we look at stuff through the lens of common sense. So we look at something like, based on just common reason, what do we think about this? So that's why it's lost art of common sense. And we don't, I mean, what Kevin's getting at is we love getting comments. We even love getting shitty comments.
Oh,
But
that's my favorite.
if you're going to comment, at least make it about something. Like this whole little back and forth Kevin had with old Herman was about the name of our show.
And I'm not even sure if he watched any of it.
Probably.
So,
not.
I mean, so I finished up with you all can read it through the comments of our last show.
It's on YouTube.
Ron versus Gavin, Trump town hall, and GOP debate. So it's the YouTube one, the YouTube site video. And basically, my last comment was, I'm sorry, are you bitching just a bitch? Or do you have an actual complaint about something in the video? Because arguing about a name, entertaining as it is, seems like a waste of time. And I got no reply to that. So he either doesn't watch the show and just found a topic like through his feed that he didn't like and decided to bitch about our name without actually listening to anything. So Herman Miller, if you're listening to this, good for you. I apologize.
Thanks for returning.
Watch the show. Thanks for watching the show. But I'm just saying, like, if you have a complaint, I will gladly argue it. Or even I will actually say, hey, I'm wrong if you got facts saying I'm wrong about something. I have no problem with that. But if you just want to bitch about something to bitch without an actual complaint, you're going to get brought up on the show.
If you say something nice and you want us to mention you on the show, we'll do that too.
Hey, we might just mention everybody that comments because we get so few of them because you're supposed to like, comment, and subscribe every video.
Every video.
Well, I mean, subscribe once, but like and comment every video.
Yes. Or
I don't care
make
if
a
you
bunch
just
of
say
fake
hi.
accounts and subscribe.
Just say hi. Just say hi.
Hi. Yeah.
More comments, the more we get shared throughout. So
yeah,
the more people should hate us. We just spread us. Spread us like syphilis.
That's right, ladies and gentlemen. Let's go ahead and wrap up this cold opening. So let's get to the show right now. Hello, America. It's time to check the nonsense at the door, clear the cobwebs between your ears, and have a rational-ish conversation. This is the lost art of common sense. That's right, America. I'm Josh.
And I'm Kevin.
And this is the lost art of common sense. And this week, we're going to talk about how it's apparently cool to hate on Jews again. That's right. We're talking about anti-Semitism and why it's so prevalent in today's world. Kevin, I'm going to go to you first, since there's literally no one else to go to because it's just you and me here. Give some examples of current anti-Semitism that we've seen or you've noticed, going on.
Let's see. Every college has had some kind of pro-Hamas, it's pro-Palestine, but it's pro-Hamas, being Hamas is the governing body of Palestine. So pro-Hamas rallies at every college, them yelling at Jewish kids, kids that had to be locked away in their dorms or in certain buildings. So for their safety, there's been, I think, 2 or 3 Jewish people killed by Palestinian supporters. When they showed the Hamas attacks in, I think, Hollywood at like some theater, or in Los Angeles, there was pro-Palestinian people fighting the people trying to get in to watch the movie. Like they had like a documentary about it. So basically, they were fighting the people that were trying to get in to watch it.
A documentary completely filmed by Hamas.
Yeah. So basically, it was just like the GoPro footage from the Hamas people killing the Israelites. So, what? It's everywhere. Basically, any large city, there has been a large anti-Semitism like spike. I think New York, a Jewish woman was beaten to death by Palestinian supporters. The list goes on and on. So, it's everywhere anymore. Let's go to Australia, where they called for the genocide of Jews right on the Sydney, whatever that opera is. I think it's
Sydney Opera House.
Yeah.
That was a hard one. I'm glad I could help you get there. And I could be wrong.
Yeah, in England, no, I'm pretty sure that's right. In England, it's all around the world right now. All these progressive countries are having a huge spike in anti-Semitism, and it's super disgusting. I love how these pro-Palestinian people, which are mostly people on the left and progressives and shit like that, but they still want to call the people on the right Nazis. So you hate the Jews, but you want to call the people on the other side trying to stop all the Jew hate Nazis. Do you not see the irony in this? Do you not? This is why people are stupid. This is why our education system is a complete failure and needs to be overhauled. It's disgusting. And this stuff is all starting from where they learn it as, I don't know if it's from high schools or colleges. I think a lot of it's colleges. I think for the most part, most teachers in high schools are good people.
I think the sad thing is I think it is moving into high schools. Like it's.
Oh, well, that's because all these teachers. It's because all these teachers are graduating from these, these left wing colleges. Like, let's see, Penn. They just had those 3 deans of the Ivy League schools come in and not say that anti-Semitism is bad. That genocide of Jews is not a bad thing. They didn't say it was a good thing, but they just kind of deflected the question. And I for one, I believe in free speech. Yes, but these schools have certain etiquette written into their charter, and if you don't follow the school etiquette, you can be dismissed. Like, this would never happen if it was people were calling for the genocide of Hispanics or blacks or maybe Asians, because for some reason Asians also get a lot of hate. But for the most part, these people would be suspended, if not, expelled from these schools for calling for genocide of a certain culture.
Well, that was one of the examples of the whole river to the sea and and what is that other word they were using? It went from the river to the sea, infinata or something like that.
Yeah, infinata. I almost said empanada, but that is definitely not.
I'm not going to say that wasn't floating around in my brain, Kevin. Which is why I waited to try to
Infitatum, maybe? Something like
maybe.
that.
I just know it's another word for genocide, like the world annihilation of Jews.
Yes.
And they're like, "Oh no, it's not what you say it is. They just want freedom." It's like, no, you can tell that Palestinians and Israelis. Well, I don't think Israelis really have a problem with Palestinians as far as like if they didn't want to murder them, they wouldn't have a problem with them. I don't.
They
think,
let them in. They let them into Israel.
I don't.
I mean,
think
they got to go through security checks, but yes, they can go freely in and out of Israel. But Israelis cannot go freely into Palestine at all.
Well, I don't. Yeah, I was going to say I don't think that goes the other way around because Israelis, I think, are almost banned from going.
Yeah, well, that's because they will be murdered.
The Gaza strips, not strips.
Strips. They're not doing a show.
Not more than one. But yeah, I that's what I didn't understand about like the whole how you can. I had a real problem with what's her face flying an Israeli flag. Not Israeli. I would have a problem with the Israeli flag too, really. But flying the Palestinian flag at the Capitol outside her office, like the only flag that should be outside Rashida Tlaib. The only flag that should be outside the office. The only other flag I could see possibly outside your office is the flag of your state. That's it.
Yes.
U.S. flag and the flag of the state that you represent. There is no room for other people's countries in our nation's capital. But you know why? Because it's our nation's capital, Kevin. It's ours.
Yes. Oh, I almost sent you a thing. Did you know we sent like 500, almost a half a million, $500,000 to study if seatbelts and helmets were a good thing in Ghana. That's where some of our taxpayer money went there, to a research to see if seatbelts and helmets were a good thing in Ghana.
Couldn't they just use data that they've already collected in the United States?
That's what this guy was saying. There was a senator from, or congressman from, I think, Oklahoma, who just kept bringing up all these stupid things that we send our tax dollars to do. It was just ridiculous.
That's why I think when they pass like budgetary stuff, and if it's for stuff like, you know, you have your say your military spending, all that stuff, border security has to be separate. And then you got to have this one bill for all the pork, call it the pork bill. And everything has to be aligned out on what they want to spend their money on. Because that's how they get this stupid ass shit passed. They'll tie that, hey, are seatbelts a good thing on the moon? I mean, it'd probably be stupid, the moon, because, I mean, come on, it's the moon. You're going to be like, boing.
I mean, there's no one up there. So.
Well, yeah. Well, what if you hit a crater? What if you hit a crater wall, Kevin? You're not thinking.
What if you go in a crater? You probably want to jump out instead of being seatbelted in.
Do you think well, I would think so. Do you think inertia works the same way in lower gravity?
I think if you hit something, you're still going to go forward, yes.
Well, yeah. So, yeah, probably.
Yeah, so inertia does work. But you probably just go slower and it'd probably kind of be fun. It's almost like you're flying. But you don't want to go too fast, right? Because once you go out of the moon's gravitational pull after a while, I mean, because it's...
I mean, you might be able to. It's pretty... Because it's hollow.
If you go fast enough and hit something, can you just slingshot yourself into space?
Well, maybe. You know, it just dawned on me, you know, like saying that the moon is hollow and it's a space station and it's like powered by a dwarf star. I'm assuming that a dwarf star probably still has a pretty hefty gravitational pull to where the moon's gravitational mass would seem super fucking huge. But I don't know anything about white dwarf stars, so I really don't know what the fuck I'm talking about. But let's get back to the topic.
I think they have a pretty big gravitational pull. So I don't. That's the thing about that's why there's not a dwarf star in there. It could just be a regular space station.
Well, it could be because that's
the
why
white dwarf thing, because they have a pretty big. It's like half the gravitational pull of the sun, because that's what the sun's going to be.
Yeah. So I'm just saying. I mean, I think Moonfall was a great movie, and I'm a little annoyed that people didn't like it because it was supposed to be a trilogy, and now I don't think we're going to get it. But
no, you're definitely
back
not gonna get it.
To the topic at hand. Okay. Why have Jewish people been ostracized throughout history? Like it's kind of weird. Like they've had it pretty rough, pretty much
since the
since
consumption of the
ever.
religion.
Yeah, I mean, they were.
It's because they're a very devout people, and they're super devout about what they believe in. Uh, like when they first start, like during the Egyptian era, you know, the Egyptians had their gods, the Ra, you know, whatever, were all their gods.
Yeah, they were aliens.
So the Jewish people said, "Yeah, you have your gods, but our God is the supreme God." So basically, what they said was, "Our God is the master of all gods, no matter where they are." So that kind of pissed some people off. So that's kind of why they've been ostracized, like since like forever. Then the whole Jesus killing thing.
Well, yeah, we kind of
That didn't
talked.
help.
I guess they didn't technically kill Jesus, but apparently they offered Jesus up to the Romans.
Yeah, they offered him up. They didn't kill him. The Romans killed him.
They
But I mean, they
betrayed
offered him up.
Jesus, I guess.
Yeah, I guess. Yeah,
That's a hard one to overcome, I guess.
yeah. So that kind of put the Christians against the Jews there for a while.
But it just seems like you can go back through human history, and it's like they've had a rough go of it.
Yeah.
And the fact that they're still like not all Jewish people, it's like not like all Christians are like, you know, super Christian, but like for the faith to still be as strong as it is after all that, I mean, it's a testament to the people. They are strong-willed.
There's a lot of devout Jewish people. I would guess for the size of the religion, I would guess they'd probably have a higher, you know, kind of devoutness than any other religion.
Yeah, if you were to go to ethnicity to religion, they're probably a higher percentage than probably any other one. Or just as much, because, I mean, they traveled around for a long time, and they never made it to the land of milk and honey, Kevin. Because they would have had to cross the Atlantic to get to the United States of America.
That's right. Then the whole Hitler thing, you know.
Yeah, that makes no sense.
Now he's half Jewish. I think he just, I don't know. Maybe some Jewish person did him wrong.
I don't know if he was just looking. Well, okay, so you've heard of the Templar Knights.
Well, I also heard that he couldn't get into the art school. And
so then he's like,
it was ran by
a dictators and take them all out.
It was ran by a Jewish person, and so he always held a grudge.
Well, I mean, he could have. I mean, and I don't know. I mean, they were successful. There's a lot of successful Jewish people in Germany back in the day. So I don't know if maybe, and I have no idea.
It could have just been envy, you know.
Well, that's what I'm saying. Like, say they held a lot of financial power in Germany, so to take him out, they just made him. Well, they could have used that though, kind of like how they're doing in the United States, so just to gain control. You had to have an enemy. Like, that's what they're doing with MAGA country, where they're all Nazis.
Even though, you know,
the MAGA trolls.
So stupid.
Yeah, like I don't know. It's weird. Like I didn't get that. Like how
are the people on the left calling for the killing of Jews, and people are saying MAGA are Nazis?
Yeah, I don't.
Tell me where that makes sense. Anywhere.
Well, the whole thing with
Mr. Herman Miller, if you want to comment on that, please do.
And while you're doing it, like and share, and I'm pretty sure you're not a subscriber yet, so go ahead and click that button.
You should subscribe as well.
Click the button and the bell, buddy. Yeah, I don't know. That was kind of weird. And what is that background noise? Is there a train outside of your place?
There is a train outside.
That's so weird.
I can't not make a train come. I mean, it's going to... And it's not, I don't have a train track anywhere near my house. It's
I was going to say, where the hell is the train track?
From downtown. And it's like a mile and a half away or a mile away.
Are the streets wet?
I don't know.
That was a song reference.
Downtown?
From Little Shop of Horrors.
I can't remember.
Downtown where the streets are wet.
Okay, I guess.
I mean, whatever. Apparently, you're not a classical...
I've seen it. I just don't I haven't watched it since I was 15 years old.
I just watched it the other day.
Did you?
They're making a remake of it.
I remember it being good, but I just don't think what's it on?
I don't know. I think it was on TV and I recorded it.
Why is that freaking train honking his horn so much? So?
I don't know. It's like that hotel in Nebraska where they went right behind our hotel and that dude laid on that horn all the way through town.
I think you have to do it at every crossing.
Yeah, not all the way through town though. So other than Palestine, the whole Gaza war and everything, what do you think the reasoning is for the hatred now and today? Like, do you think that it's always been there and they're just using the?
It's the hate. It's a hatred of the West.
Do you
This
think
is
that's what it
where
is?
I think that's a big problem of it because it's the oppressed. Well, I mean, to perceived oppressors against the oppressed. And that's the whole dynamic. Even if somebody's not oppressed, they feel oppressed because, you got to have some kind of letter signifying who you are anymore. So if you don't have a letter, then you're an oppressor,
What letter are you,
basically.
Kevin?
Uh, A for awesome.
Oh, I was gonna go F for fat, but whatever.
Or fat. I mean, AF. Woo! Awesome fat. That's what that means. But I mean, it's
My doctor calls it ass fat, but I call it awesome fat.
now it's just oppressor, suppressor, and it's a hatred of the West. It's hatred. People for some reason think people who have benefited so so much in this country, and have had all these opportunities to go to school and stuff, are somehow feeling like they are oppressed and would that this country is doing such a bad job and are marginalizing all these minorities when if these people went anywhere else in the world other than maybe a western anywhere else that's not a civilized like western civilized
You're talking about left wing
country,
progressives.
yes, they would be murdered
Yes.
for their beliefs
Or smacked around a bit.
or smacked, not a bit, a lot.
They would be Channing Tatum in The World Ends, or This
Yeah.
Is the End. That
Yep.
would be every left wing progressive
it's
in
just
anywhere else in the world.
it's just super annoying.
And they'd probably enjoy it though. That's a problem.
i don't I don't understand this hatred of the Jewish people. Like, I don't know where it came from or how. It's like a hive mind. Like,
Well, see, that's what I was going to say, and I'm not making excuse for them, saying for it all. I would say majority of the non-Palestinian college age people that are protesting now that come off like and act and through their actions are pretty anti-Semitic and seem to hate Jews. I don't think they actually hate Jews. I think they were told to hate Jews, so they're just doing whatever they're told. I think a lot of the people going through the college system right now literally cannot think for themselves.
exactly.
It's like, oh, this is who we're hating today. It's like that PCU movie where like you had the protest groups, which were left wing douchebags that just walked around and they had pop up protest signs that they would just with a Sharpie write whatever they're protesting for that day. Like that. That movie came out because I remember PCism was pretty big when we were in high school, and then it kind of faded away. And then you could argue that it came back around Obama.
Not came back. It came back with a vengeance.
It
It
came back
was,
hard.
yeah. I mean, it's it blew up from like, and I saw like I think a Instagram reel or whatever. It's either a reel or TikTok. I saw that. Since it came back around 2012, and it's in the government pretty much. People were instigating people to fight against each other because well, shit was going south in the government. So it's easier to have your people don't notice like government failures if they're fighting amongst themselves.
Yeah. Well, and you can, and I've seen it because it's been pointed out. But like, if there's a big story, like the whole Titanic sub thing, which was sad, but anybody they knew that those people were dead probably within an hour or two of them losing contact with the mothership.
Ah, for sure.
But they dragged it on for a week and it was all we heard about the news. And anytime there's something like that, anytime there's a story that they're really pushing, you can generally find some shit that's being passed or done
How
in the
much money do we
background.
spend sending the Coast Guard or the Navy or whatever out there
Yeah.
for something that we knew was
Well, and
not.
apparently
They were
there was
gone.
some shady shit that went on during that
Like
that
what?
wasn't reported. Don't ask me for examples, Kevin. This isn't that kind of show.
Okay.
We are a fact checker's wet dream.
You can't see there's just some shady shit that went down and not
No,
explain what this.
well, because I read a story back when it happened. Like this all passed during this time in the
Oh,
news, and I remember being messed up, and I don't remember exactly what it was. So, am I lying? I don't think so,
okay.
because I'm not offering up specifics. That's how you can't get fact checked if you don't put any facts out there.
I don't care if I get fact check. I mean,
I don't care either.
I'd prefer it.
I would
At
like to
least
get fact checked with a bunch
of
of
comments.
publicity of showing how dumb we are.
Yeah, that's fine.
That's fine. Yeah, I just think, so I kind of think that the hate, but like throughout the world, I think the animosity for whatever reason, I mean, I get like what you said and I agree with you, but that still doesn't, I don't hate anybody, any group for anything.
No.
I hate individuals.
Exactly. And
You have been weighed in my eyes. You have been judged, and I either like you or indifferent or I hate you.
I'm sure there's some progressive people I could probably.
I mean,
get along
I don't
with.
hate anybody.
I mean, I don't wish harm on anyone. Like I would never call for the genocide of anybody, of any race, any religion, any creed, any. I mean, there's no way I would call for the genocide of any group of people. Now, would I like somebody who's a dick get maybe like smacked around a bit? Yeah, why not? But I mean, that's an individual person. I'm not. I still don't call for him to die.
Well, and that's why people
unless
try
it's
to
a
make
dictator who's fucking committing genocide. Then
Well,
yes,
yeah, that's
that
different.
dude should get murdered.
Like all the leaders of Hamas.
Yes.
Well, and that's why, like what you were
I
saying,
did call for her mosque blown off the face of the earth.
they
You're
deserve
right.
it.
Yeah.
Well, and people feel bad, and it does suck. Like it sucks that there is so many innocent lives of Palestinians being lost because of this conflict. But it's Hamas's fault. That just is what it is.
It's not Israel's fault. They can't just keep letting this happen. You can't keep letting people murder your people and instigating everything, then be like, what? Just say, oh, well, don't do it next time.
Well, and you could argue that
there's only so much shit a person or people should take.
Yeah. Well, you could argue that up until about, say, 30 years ago, in any war or conflict, there are always more innocent civilians that died than military personnel.
Oh, yeah. I think we proved that I think I looked up the World War II civilian.
Yeah, World War II is way more, like 40 million more or something like that.
Yeah.
Like it was a lot. Like that's just the way it was. So this is just recent. Like it does suck. No one's saying it doesn't suck. And it sucks that there has to be a war down there because a terrorist group that was elected into power in an area decided to go in and indiscriminately murder women, children, men, elderly, babies. They didn't care. And there's consequences. It's kind of like I'm totally fine with people saying whatever the hell they want to say. If you want to go out and say the most anti-Semitic bullshit in the world, that's your right to not be prosecuted by the federal government. Whether or not you get smacked around for that opinion, that's what people don't realize. I have a First Amendment right. That does not protect you from getting punched in the face.
Nope.
Like if you say something monumentally stupid, that does not protect you from repercussion. It protects you from being prosecuted by the federal government. That's it.
Like I wasn't arguing. I was trying to explain to somebody. I'm like, somebody's like, when I hate it's when somebody says you can't yell fire in a theater. You can yell fire in a theater. It's how the crowd reacts is what happens. It's either inciting a panic or inciting you can get charged for inciting a panic if that happens. People get injured while trying to escape the theater. But yes, you can yell it as much as you want.
Well, and it's not necessarily being prosecuted. You can't be silenced by the federal government. So like what they were doing with the tech companies was horrendously illegal and against the First Amendment. But if you go on, and what I'm saying is, because I like people to say whatever's on their mind. If they want to say the most racist, anti-Semitic, whatever stuff, then you know what they're thinking. You know what's on their mind. If you silence it and then push them into the undergrounds or whatever, then you don't know what you're thinking. At least then you know what? I should probably keep an eye on that guy who constantly goes to that dry cleaner with all those white robes. He might just be into white and doesn't, know about the Labor Day thing. But
Yeah.
I'm just saying, might want to keep an eye on him. But like, there's consequences for your speech. You're only really protected from being silenced or prosecuted by the federal government. That's what people don't understand. You can say whatever you want, but there are consequences. Because, like, I will get into it when we get into the next segment, but because we are trying something else, something new on this episode, ladies and gentlemen. We're going to try to segment the show into different segments to help kind of flow. And if we ever have to do a solo episode, it'll kind of help us out on that to make the show better for you. That's right. Everything we do is for the benefit of you. But my final question is, Kevin, because since a rise in anti-Semitism, the last time, a real bad one, led to, World War II. Do you think the current wave of anti-Semitism, and if you look around, and I'm not saying there's no little warning lights going on, could lead to World War III?
I'm not going to say it's not a. I don't know. Yes, but I think there's a lot of warnings that World War III is coming. I don't think it's just this. I think the war machine of America would love nothing more than World War III.
Yeah.
The money that's made from probably a global war, and I'm guessing we'd be in World War X if nuclear weapons had not been invented.
Yeah, that's probably have staved off quite a bit of stuff.
Because that's basically the whole fear of what happens if there's a war and some trigger happy D-bag decided to press that button, and then it's not a war, it's a nuclear war and the end of the world.
I was going to say, I think you probably only have one nuclear war.
Yeah, no, it's a nuclear war.
Just one.
So if nukes weren't invented, we'd be in World War like 5 or 6, 7, 8, because it's a money making fucking. Basically, everything's about money, anyways. Yes, the war probably started as some kind of conflict between two nations or three nations or a continent, but eventually.
Well, nations will go to war when they're in trouble too. That's why I think it's a good idea to keep an eye on China, because if your economy is about to fail or your resources are running, that's why back in the day, people will go to war. It's like, hey, we don't have any food over here. These people do. We're going to war. So, like, that's why I think, other than the fact that they steal and they are geopolitical foe, but China's, like I think we've said it multiple times in the show, they're not doing good. I think they're holding on by an ass hair. And that's when countries get dangerous and start doing stupid shit. And, we're stupid. So, I could see this. I don't know. I would kind of agree with you. There's signs all over the place, but it just seems like there's weird precursors. Like, we're kind of in a program where we've gone from this age to this age and everything just keeps repeating. But, I don't know. It's just so much instability in the world that I could see it kicking off, and it just we'll look back and be like, oh, look. So apparently once people start talking shit about Jews, we're going to end up getting a world war, because I don't know. That seems kind of the way we're headed, but I think that kind of wraps up the main topic. So now we're going to head on to the next segment called winners and losers of the week. Kevin, I'm going to go ahead and let you go first, since I'm running the show today with your winner of the week.
I went with Alex Jones and X, formerly known as Twitter. I don't particularly agree with everything Alex Jones has said, but he has said a lot of things that have people wrote him off on that have come true. Like, probably, so I'm not saying like everything he said. That Sandy Hook thing, he's even said that, that was a mistake. He was going through a hard time. He was kind of boozing it up a bit, I think, at that time.
I think he actually quit drinking it. No, he didn't quit drinking. He still drinks. Doesn't he? I think
he quit drinking, or
I think that was only a couple years ago.
I think drugs were involved, but I think it was he sobered up. He's still Alex Jones, so the way he delivers stuff is how it's funny, but it's very off-putting to certain people. But I wanted to say that it's my winner of the week because X, formerly known as Twitter, and Elon Musk, um, and I agree with even people I don't like don't agree with. I don't care. Everybody should have. It's a platform that should be, as for free speech. I mean, that's people, right or wrong, give your opinion. I might not agree with it. I might hate you for it. Maybe not hate, but I mean, but you should.
I'm gonna think you're a dummy.
But you should have that platform, no matter what. So I really like Elon Musk for what he did. Other than like, if you threaten or dox, if you threaten to kill somebody or dox somebody, those should be the two reasons you get kicked off the platform.
Or you automatically get doxxed back yourself.
I don't think for saying something, no matter how offensive it is, you should be kicked off. Because what did Elon Musk say? If you don't agree, if free speech isn't when you agree with somebody, it's when you don't agree with somebody.
Yeah, that's exactly
that they should. Yeah. So I mean, I think that's so. Those are my winners because Alex Jones and X, because Alex Jones is back on X.
Yeah, I thought that was a huge thing and there's a lot of people that had a problem with that. Pierce Morgan was one of them. He's like, oh, I'm all about free speech, and I like to say things, and you can say whatever you want, unless your name is Alex Jones, and then I don't like you, and I think you should be muffled with a muffler.
What's funny though is like earlier this year he had Alex Jones on his show.
Yeah, but then he could control it.
Yeah, but still, if you want to not allow Alex Jones on X, but you want him on your show, I mean, he's still.
Maybe Alex it's because he knows that he doesn't have as much of a reach as Alex Jones does.
It's just stupid.
Oh, I think it's unfair. When I had you on, I had 5 million views, and then you get on X and you get like 20 million followers and everything. You're going to say, he's going to say, hey, I was on the Pierce Morgan show and he was wearing pantaloons. And I don't like him saying that because everyone's going to believe him.
I mean, there's some things I agree with him on. I mean, I guess he agrees with me. F him.
Well, he was a major anti-gunner, and then he found out that Americans don't give a shit what British people think about our gun laws. And he kind of got off that. So I agree with him on some stuff. I don't agree with that. But yeah, I think there's a lot of people kind of showed their ass on it. It's like, oh, he has to be silenced, blah, blah, blah. It's like, why? For one thing, if you don't like what he has to say, don't follow him. Like, we're probably the biggest proponent of free speech. If you hate our show and think we're the dumbest people walking on the earth, cool. I don't care. You can say that until your face turns because I know you're lying because I'm a pancake class graduate. Boom.
Boom. Yeah. Oh, pancake class. I don't care if you don't like us. Don't watch us.
Yeah.
You know what I do when I don't agree with somebody on Twitter or X?
And 99.997% of the country so far aren't watching it. So
yeah. It's way more 99. It's 99.999999997.
But we're getting there. We're clawing our way to the top.
Clawing our way to the top. But I mean, yeah, don't watch us. Don't follow somebody on X if you don't agree with them.
If someone says you don't agree with, look into what they're saying. You'll find out pretty quick whether or not it's bullshit. As long as you can put your biases to the side.
Which I don't mind people, I love arguing with people on Twitter. It's how I pass the time sometimes.
Yes.
Somebody and I will begrudgingly because I was talking, it was about the whole, Joe Biden impeachment thing. And I'm like, well, your site started it first. So why are you bitching about this?
With a lot less.
That's what I said. They're like, no, then they're like, no, all that stuff, even Trump's own people winning. So I'm like, well, I mean, Trump didn't have the best people surrounding him.
Yeah, and at the end of the day,
turncoats.
Well, and it didn't matter.
No,
they couldn't prove it.
No, and I'm like, it's a bunch of conjecture. I'm like, they're like, well, they don't have anything about him. Like, they haven't even started the impeachment yet. I'm like, they just did the start of the inquiry. So I'm like, you don't know exactly what they have. They didn't just come out and show everything. I'm like, you don't know. You can't just be mad when they do it. When you start something and then the opposite side does the same thing you did, don't be mad.
Well, and it's not like they're going to do an impeachment inquiry on Biden based on a report they got from a foreign intelligence agent. It's based on shit they're getting from banks and stuff that Hunter Biden said in money transfers. Like it's an actual tangible document that they got. It's not like, oh, well, we have this dossier that was made by a British spy. Like, no, it's not like that where you find out it's totally fake and whatever. Like these come from actual banks. It's like totally different.
Yeah.
I don't know. I just think it's stupid. My winner of the week, because apparently Kevin put more thought and took this more serious than I did, which I will continue to be better, Kevin. I apologize to you and our fellow listeners, but my winner of the week is pretty much every enemy of the United States. And that's because we have shown over and over again that on the world stage, our current leadership is weak. And because of that weakness, the entire world is more unstable. So, as far as like, if you're waiting around, because if you notice under Trump, the world was pretty quiet, not a whole lot of shit going on. Somebody get up, chirp, chirp, and be like, bomb them. You're done. I'm going to drop the most spectacular, awesome, biggest bomb with the huge explosions and the lights in the air.
He did.
You're welcome.
The biggest bomb we had. That was non-nuclear.
It's called Moab. Mother of all bombs.
Yeah.
You're welcome. It's like, you know what? I want you to chase the launch button until you're fired. You're fired.
It's true, though.
But,
right.
So they're sitting around like, oh, no, this guy's crazy. You know, I am totally fine with the people, other world leaders thinking that our leader is crazy. As far as like, oh, man, this guy just said that he's going to do this. He's a little crazy. He might do it. I'm totally cool with that because then you get in Mr. Sympathizer. I'm going to make everybody my friend. Hey, we're going to be friends. You know what I mean? I'm not lying. Tell the truth. We're going to be friends. Yeah. I feel my hairy leg. Can I smell your child? Okay. Yeah. Okay. My bad. I overstepped my bounds again.
You put a lot of sentences there. He couldn't go that long without stuttering or maybe not.
Well, that's true. I was hoping that my natural mumbling would carry me through, but apparently
you're doing.
I don't even mumble enough. But you know, they were waiting around. They get in and they're like, "Oh man, we get Democrats in charge again," and it's like, and it's so weird because Democrats are the party of peace, yet somehow when they're in charge, other than like when Bush was president, when he got us into a war, and you can believe Yavek and myself on whether or not that is what we were told it was or whatever. But
or was it just a revenge war?
Well, that's kind of what I always thought that he did it because his dad never finished the job. It's kind of like back in the day. That's what I thought. But Trump ended wars. Like there were no new wars. Like he calmed things down, and then Biden gets in, and wars are breaking out everywhere. And I guarantee you, none of the Russia wouldn't have happened because, for one thing, Trump wouldn't be talking to Ukraine about joining the UN. I don't give a fuck what anybody says. What Russia did is fucked up. It's wrong. Ukraine's a sovereign nation, but Putin flat out said, and all the upper echelon of Russians said, that we will not have a UN country on our border. If you try to add one of them to the UN, we are going to attack. They couldn't have been any clearer on that. And then Kamala Harris comes in. Hi, I think we should join Ukraine into the United Nations, a nation that is united, multiple ones together, and then they should be part of the union, and then we'll all be united. Because that's what United Nations means. And then, okay, Russia said what they're going to do, so they attacked. So, I mean, it's fucked up, but, like, that's what happens. And I guarantee you that wouldn't happen under Trump. Sorry. And we're going to have a lot of unstable stuff going forward, but it is what it is. But those are our winners of the week, Kevin. Why don't you tell everybody who your loser of the week is?
Hunter Biden. And I don't think, I mean, he's just a loser in life, but I think.
Yeah. Well, you can tell by how he talks. He sounds like Joe Biden if he had a horrendous drug habit most of his life. Because people have drug habits, they talk like Hunter Biden.
I think the losers are not particular Hunter Biden, but America and Hunter Biden sympathizers are the losers of the week because one, This dude was gaslighting like a mother. Like somehow he turned his millions of dollars and not paying taxes and drug habits. He tried to turn himself into a victim. That the rights that the American right was going after him unfairly. No, douchebag. Uh, you and your dad had a big punt or a big scheme to collect money for favors. I mean, that's on you. And the fact that you left a laptop with you doing cocaine off a hooker's ass is not anybody's problem but yours. You're an idiot. You know
Yeah, I 100% agree
that's
with that.
so. Yes, he is my loser of the week because he's a big douche nozzle.
He is a big douche nozzle. They're trying to kill me because they know that if they get rid of me, then it'll hurt my father irrevocably. And it might, but at the same time, I'm actually waiting to see. So the pressure, like real legal pressure and going to jail, is starting to build up on Biden, Hunter. At what point would you be like, you know what? I'll give you all the goods on my dad for a sweetheart deal. I walk free. I'll
I
give you everything on my
guarantee
dad.
if it wasn't, I don't know. Well,
I walk free and I keep the money and I'll give you everything I have on my dad.
it's by the DOJ. They're not going to allow that to happen.
All you need is one rogue prosecutor.
It's not Jack Smith.
No. Well, and that one person resigned, but yeah, that I'm just waiting for that to happen because that's just what drug addicts do. Now he might be an ex-drug addict, but that's what they do. They're like, "Oh man, I'm in boiling water. I'm younger. My dad's probably going to make it like his battery life's down to like 25%, so probably not going to make it much longer. I'm just going to go ahead and flip script because I just he he's got to have a ton of shit on it. Like, yeah, everything that you said about Biden is true. Like, kudos to him for keeping his mouth shut on that and not like throwing his dad under the bus to protect himself. But Chris probably because he'd probably be killed. But my loser of the week, Kevin, is now we did recently in this episode reference the 3 elite college presidents who did a horrendous job, all 3 of them at the Senate or is it Congress? Was it Congress here? Yeah, it was Congress hearing,
Congress.
Right?
Yeah.
About how their
hearing.
congressional hearing on how they were handling the anti-Semitism on their campuses. But I think the overall loser out of those 3 is the president of Harvard, Mrs. Gay.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know. She's the only one I think kept her job.
I know. Well, I know Penn. She was forced to resign because they had a huge donor. It's like, hey, you can either keep this bitch on, and I'll keep my $100 million, or you can can her ass.
MIT might have kept theirs. I'm not sure.
I think I haven't heard about them getting rid of theirs. But see, the fucked up thing is, I think Professor Gay said I think her response was worse. Because they're like, I personally find it abhorrent or whatever that word is, because I didn't go to Harvard. Because obviously, abhorrent.
Yeah, well, just close enough. Whatever.
Whatever. You know what I'm saying.
I do.
But like I personally find it that way. But we believe in free speech. Although I'm pretty sure people are getting quite a bit of trouble, even possibly fired for not using the correct pronouns. So it's like they care about the woke bullshit and whether or not someone's affecting safe spaces and not about anti-Semitism where students are literally being threatened. And like, was it at Harvard where they were locked in a library? Yeah, I mean, that's the shit. And then you find out there's this huge scandal going on that she plagiarized a bunch of her work.
Yeah, like the thesis to get her doctorate, she plagiarized like a bunch of shit on it.
Oh yeah, because the lady she plagiarized came out like talking shit about her.
Hey, you can use like when you do a thesis, you can use other people's work, but either you have to credit them, or if you and use it in quotations. She didn't either, and somehow she's able to keep her job and her doctorate when most people would be removed.
Well, that's what's stupid.
If it was a white woman or a white man, they would have been removed.
Well, that's the big thing that people are saying. It's like, oh, you're just attacking her because she's a black female, a strong black female, and this is just, an example of white supremacy. I'm like, shut the fuck up.
Shut the fuck up. It's because they're.
I think fucking
if you want
Elizabeth
equality,
Warren?
things got to be equal. I'm sorry, but you can't. It's not equality when you raise any race or somebody gets to keep their job because of their race.
Yeah, they get to break the rules and keep their job because of their race or sex or gender or fucking sexuality or any of that stuff. Like, that's not equality.
This isn't equality. This is almost a disservice. I mean...
Yeah, I think it's fucking stupid.
To not only... I mean, to the students of Harvard. I mean, what's that teaching them?
Well, what I understand, I think Harvard has completely lost its, whatever you would call it, clout. Credibility. Like, why the fuck, just seeing what's coming out of these Ivy League schools, why the hell would anybody hire somebody who came out of an Ivy League school unless you're trying to, run one of these ESG corporations? Like,
I still think their law school's really good, though.
Maybe. Even their law students, like, some of their stuff coming out is like, okay, you obviously don't have an understanding of the law.
You see,
there's been a bunch of people.
There's been a bunch of people who lost their law internship or jobs from like Harvard because they're pro-Palestine.
Yeah, well, they should. Like, because it wasn't just being pro-Palestine; it was like what they were saying about it.
I think there was a girl who got, I can't remember what school. It wasn't like Harvard, or I don't think it was an Ivy League school, but she got kicked out of college and her scholarship taken away because she was ripping down posters of, the kidnapped people or the people that were taken or whatever.
Well, good.
Yeah. But she was crying about it.
That she got kicked out?
Yeah. She was like,
well, that's because a lot of these...
What am I supposed to do? There shouldn't be consequences to my actions.
Well, that's just it. A lot of these people are just from what they see on TV, what they're told, what they get away with doing, literally think that they can be these little shit assholes and there's no consequences whatsoever. So when, it really comes to and reality kicks in, that's when they have that little mental breakdown. It isn't Gen X's fault. Reference the Gen X episode to find out how horrible of parents our generation actually was.
And the next episode after that, just the beginning if you don't care about the rest of the crap. But
yes.
Yeah.
But they... Well, it's the same thing. Like if I ever took an application from somebody and or a resume and there was anywhere on there that said pronouns, I don't even care if it was like his, he, or, or she, her, he, him, and they're normal. If you put pronouns on a resume, you will never work for me. Ever. That is a red flag for a huge pain in the ass person.
Yeah, well, it's because they're going to think they're entitled to something. So when everybody that has any kind of pronoun, any kind of, I'm sorry, but you can look at somebody and for the most part tell if they're going to be a pain in the ass. You can just tell for the most part.
What do they call us? You remember that? Normal people?
Cis?
Is it like, yeah, something like that.
Yeah. Cis.
Like, yeah, I was like, Myra's. It's like, oh, you're a cis male, yeah, and you're
I'm just a fucking dude.
Yeah, and you're a go fuck yourself, whatever you are.
Yeah, I'm not.
Like anything. They literally made up a term for normal.
Yeah,
it's like, oh, I think you mispronounced normal.
Yeah,
yeah, mentally stable. Yeah,
now,
mentally stable-ish.
Yeah.
Well, I think that kind of wraps up the winners and losers of the week, Kevin. Did you like the new segment?
I did.
Do you think we should continue it?
I do.
Do you think people should comment below on whether or not we should continue it?
Yes, but
we will take suggestions. I mean, we're going to do whatever the hell we want to do, but we will take suggestions, and we will take suggestions.
Do you have a fun segment you want us to start? We'll do it.
That's right.
We're open to anything. Well,
we're going to something. I mean, I don't know. It's got to be pretty lame.
It not to be, or stupid.
Like, what did who did Kevin rub massage oil on this week? We're not going to do that.
It's always my nipples.
Spoiler alert. It's some hairy dude.
It's just me. My nipples.
Yeah, hairy
All
nipples.
the time.
All right, it's time for Kevin's oil up of the week. That's not the first time I think you've done that on the show either, Kevin. But the ending of that segment brings on the last segment of the show, Kevin. And what segment was that?
The white slur of the week. Put on the video.
What's a honky?
That's right. And in this week's white slur of the week is peckerwood. Peckerwood is a term. Peckerwood is a term used in the southern United States for a woodpecker, which is also used as a racist epithet toward white people, especially poor rural whites. Originally a racist slur, the term has been embraced by a subculture related to prison gangs and outlaw motorcycle clubs. The term was in use. Let's see, I'm trying a new thing with the Chiron stuff. As
The term was in use as in...
Yeah, originally the racist slur, the term has been embraced by, I already read that. Then the term was in use as an inversion of woodpecker by the 1830s, with a sense referring to white people documented from the 1850s. African-American folklore in the 1920s contrasts the white woodpecker bird with the African-American blackbird. The word became common term in jive. And that was the white slur of the week.
What's a honky?
That was a lot of reading. Maybe we should.
That was a lot of
out.
reading. Well, see, I got that off of Wikipedia.
Yeah.
Because I had to bypass some stuff to get on the slurs.info.
Yeah.
Apparently there's some riskware involved there, but that was a lot. Well, the problem was I had to go line by line, and then I lost my spot when I changed it. It's just total lack of professionalism on our part, Kevin. And by our part, I mean yours, because I do all the hard work, and Kevin's a schmuck.
Before we go, this will be our last episode for a while, because at least, I think, doesn't Christmas fall on a Monday or Sunday?
It does fall on a Monday.
So then, obviously, New Year's.
Well, we take time off to get through the, spend time with our families over Christmas, get New Year's, and then you got to get back into going from there. But we're not going to take as long of a break next year as we did this year.
Well, I know January 15th is the Iowa caucus. And like February
caucus
6th is Nevada?
Yeah, we'll probably start pretty early this year.
Well, there might just be...
That'll be a topic. Election update of the week.
Yeah, so we'll do that. That's a good segment. And we might start doing some live shows, so...
Yep, we're going to be looking into some other stuff, maybe adding a third chair. So, yeah, that's right. We're not exactly expanding nor making money at this, but we are expanding our financial footprint on the amount of money we're dumping into this thing.
So I think next November...
our goal is to have 1 billion subscribers.
Well, no, I was thinking by the election.
Oh, 30. I'd be
with
cool with 30. Oh, we already have 30.
We could have a live election.
Yeah, we could do that.
We'll have to take the next day off work.
I'd be fine with that. I don't care.
So I'll probably take the next day off work.
Yeah. Well, you got anything else? I know we kind of wrap it up there, but I think that's
no. Just want to tell people won't be on for a little bit.
Hope you have a very Merry Christmas. Remember, it's to celebrate the birth of Jesus, and a Happy New Year without any DUIs.
Yes.
Kevin concurs.
Just stay home for New Year's, or get an Uber or something. Don't drive.
That's right. Don't drink and drive, ladies and gentlemen. Remember, 3 strikes and you're out. But until next time, I'm Josh.
And I'm Kevin.
And this was another epically awesome, bodacious episode of The Lost Art of Common Sense.
Common sense!
Common sense, baby!
Common sense!
Peckerwoods! Peckerwood. We'll see you next week, everybody. No, we won't see you next week. We'll see you next year.